My girl, she got a gun in her hand, and she keeps one in her man. Baby girl, I know what I did. You ain't gotta run the amount, so run the amount. Baby.
Hey beautiful people, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be creating another cut crease look, but we're going to be doing something soft and with a pop of color. So to start off, I'm just going to be cleaning the skin with some baby wipes, you guys already know. And to set the skin today, I'm going to be using my e.l.f. setting spray, and then I'm also going to be using my Becca mattifying primer just to, mattify the skin up. And then I'm going to be going onto the brows, and I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in soft brown.
Tonight I represent the guy with the money who live fast but still baby don't die young. Say tonight you can call my phone, tonight you can call me all night long. Tonight I represent the guy with the money who live fast.
So once we're done filling in the brows, I'm going to be using my Studio Finish concealer, and I'm using the shade NC40, and I'm going to be using this to clean underneath the brows. Next, to further fill in the brows, I'm going to be using my ABH Brow Powder, also in the shade Soft Brown. And then after this, I'm going to be using my Studio Finish Concealer to clean up the top of the brows, and I'm using a shade closer to her skin, and I'm using MAC's NC45 shade in this case. So once we're done with this, I'm just going to be taking my buffing brush, you guys already know, and I'm just going to buff out the concealer around the brows so it doesn't look harsh.
Tell me what you want, I want it too. You know I gotta.
And then once we're done with this, I'm going to move on to the skin. And today I decided to use my MAC Studio Finish and my MAC Studio Fix foundation in NC45 and 50 because I normally use cream foundation, so I thought I would opt for liquid foundation this time around. And I just make sure to spray the brush as usual, and then I'm just buffing the foundation into her skin.
Yeah, but tonight you can call my phone. Tonight you can call me all night long. Tonight I represent the guy with the money who live fast but still baby don't die young. Say tonight you can call my phone. Tonight you can.
To highlight her face, I'm going to be using my Ellie Girl Pro Concealer in the shade Warm Honey. I'm just applying this to the areas of her face that I'd like to highlight. And then I'm going to be going in with an original beauty blender, and I make sure the beauty blender is damp. I'm just going to be using this to buff the concealer into her skin.
Tonight just go all the way with me, all the way with me. Tonight just go all the way with me, all the way with me. But tonight you can call my phone. Tonight you can call me all night long. Tonight I represent the guy with the money.
So once we're done highlighting, we're going to go on to contouring the face, and I'm doing this using my favorite ever product, which is my Nye Cream shadow, and in her case I'm using the shade Dark Brown. I'm basically just applying this to the areas of the face that I'd like to contour, so that's the hollows of the cheeks and around her, the bridge of her nose, and all that shenanigan.
All the way with me. Tonight just go all the way.
So once I'm done contouring and highlighting, I always go back in with my foundation brush just to blend everything together to make sure there are no harsh lines. Now the problem I have with MAC Studio Fix foundation, even though I really love it, is that it gets quite dry. So I had to go over with my e.l.f. setting spray just to, rejuvenate the skin, and then go back in and blend it out. And then once I'm done doing this, I'm going to be setting her highlighted areas with the Nye Banana powder. To set the rest of her face, I'm going to be using my MAC's Miniralise Skin Finish in Dark, and these powders are like my favorite powders to use in my makeup kit alongside Nye powders. I just find that they're so lightweight on the skin, and they give a very translucent finish as well, so they're not cakey at all. So at this stage, I'm just going back in with some more of that banana powder for the baking process. So I'm going to leave this to set into her skin. For her nose contour, I went in with my ABH Contour powder in Havana, and then for the rest of her face, I used both Havana and Cinamon mixed together. I'm just going to use this to set the areas of the face that I contoured. Baby, you too sweet, baby, dance to the And then to make the contour area, stand out more, I'm going to go in and reverse contour. And I'm just doing this using the face powder that I used on her. So onto the eyes, I'm going to be using MAC's eyeshadow in Texture as her first transition color. I'm just buffing this all over the area above her lid. Next, I'm going to be using MAC's eyeshadow in Brown Script and Roll. I'm going to be using these two colors together to warm up our eye area. And then after doing this, I'm going to be using MAC's eyeshadow in Embark and Folie. I'm going to be using these two colors to cut out her crease area. Once I'm done cutting out the crease, I'm going to be using MAC's eyeshadow in Swiss Chocolate. I'm basically going to use this to blend out the cut crease.
Baby Pana, they say you like you are I get you are baby Pana. Anyway, that's good.
Next, I'm just going to go back in with some more of that brown script, and I'm going to use this to further blend out the eye area. And then I'm going to be using my MAC's paint pot in soft ochre, and I'm going to be using this to carve out our eyelid area.
Oh baby, baby you too sweet, baby dance to the lagwaja, make a take you to Babalada. Oh baby you too sweet.
For our eyeshadow today, I went in with one of my Makeup Geeks foiled eyeshadow in Magic Act, and this is a very pretty soft gold color. It's so pretty, so gold, so effortless. I absolutely love this eyeshadow. And once I'm done doing this, I just went in to further intensify the cut crease area so the eyeshadow stands out. And then I'm just going to be lining our eyes using my Inglot gel liner in number 77. And I noticed that my gel liner had dried out, so I basically just popped on some Duraline, and that just brought life back to the liner.
Show you love that you never seen before. For like give me love, oh.
So I decided to go in and do some glitter liner, and the first color I used was this glitter liner from Nye Cream in Rhyme, but it didn't really show up because it was pretty gold. So then I went in with this random collection glitter liner in Hustle, and it gave a silver iridescent kind of effect. So I was like, that doesn't look too bad. It doesn't really show, but you guys will see it in the pictures. But so basically we're pretty much done with the eyes at this stage, and then I'm just going back in and dusting off all the baking powder, all the excess powder off her face. And then I decided to go in and do a pop of color. So I'm going to be using this turquoise liner from MUA, and the first thing I did was apply this onto her lower lash line, and then I went in with this turquoisey color. I think it's called Belize or Belize, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I just used this to set that turquoise liner into place. I'm just applying some Ben Nye powder to catch some fallout from the eyeshadow. And then after doing this, I went in with some black eyeshadow just to darken the outer corner of the lower lash line, so it doesn't look like I just popped a color there and left it. And then yeah, I believe we're done now. So I'm just again dusting off any excess powder off her face. And then I'm going to be using my MAC's blush in Peach Twist, which is my favorite ever peachy blush, to just warm up her cheeks. And after this, I'm going to be using my two babies, which is my Becca highlighter in Opal and Topaz, to just glow up the face. So now that we're done with the face, I'm going to go ahead and set it with my favorite setting spray from Skindinavia, and then we're going to be using my favorite lip liner from MAC, which is Chestnut. And I'm just going to be using this to line her lips. And then to fill in her lips, I'm going to be using my OCC Lip Tar in Anika, and this is a gorgeous peachy pinkish kind of color. So I'm just going back in with the lip liner pencil, just to blend everything together. And then after this, I'm going to be using my House of Tara shadow primer to lighten up the center of the lips like I always do. And then we're pretty much done with the lips now, so I'm just applying the false lashes because the glue had gotten tacky. And then I went ahead to clean up around the lips area. I'm going to set it with some powder, and I'm going to apply some mascara onto the falsies, and then we are finito.
Stay down, I'ma put you in a beamer, 'cause you loyal, girl, I no go leave ya. Anything, baby, tell me I go give ya.
So here's the finished look, guys. Thank you all so much for staying tuned once more. I hope you all enjoyed this tutorial. It's definitely spring wearable, and I'll see you all in my next video.